I feel obliged to begin every recording with that phrase. But this is a new setup, a new camera, new computer, and I actually went and grabbed the snowball microphone, reclaimed it from my spouse for the moment, and I really want to see how much of a difference this makes. And we got to kind of we'll shift this over a little. Ooh, excitement. You get to see the development, tech shooting in action, complete with random noises as I hit the desk. All right, so perhaps not hold the book in front of the microphone. All right, so I thought what I'd do is read a short story and we'll test this equipment out. This is one of my very earliest pieces, actually, and one of my early superhero pieces. It's called Acquainted with the Night. It got reprinted in a anthology called Corrupts Absolutely, question mark, dark metahuman fiction, edited by Lincoln Chrysler. And there's the cover. And now I've lost the zoom window. So where did it go? No. All right, there we go. All right. So this is Acquainted with the Night. And of course, that is a reference to the Robert Frost poem. Rain sleets down like multicolored metal needles to splatter against the chill neon-lit street's surface. The light gutters across the wet surface of his black plastic rain poncho, picking out abstract tattoos. Somewhere in the night, he knows there is darkness brewing. The mask fits loosely on his face under the rain poncho's shroud. Some people look at him as they go past in the rain, but their eyes skitter away, seeing him faceless in the dark. At one point, the mask was crimson, and golden wind vortexes, bright as daylight, rode his face on either side, framing his power, his strength. Far away, he hears a shout. He pauses to listen, but it does not come again, and he is not sure of the direction. Cars hiss past in a spray of sparkling, heavy, wet mist and touch the surface of his jacket with beaded jewels. He tugs at his dark gray face covering, pulling it into place. Rain has seeped in through the eye holes and walks along his face like the memory of tears. Is he crying, or is it the rain? The question seems overwrought, and he feels himself slipping into one of those dark, cinematic moods where he sees everything from the outside. It's starting again, the loop of film that is his life. Part 1, the origin. He was an ordinary boy in an extraordinary place, he tells himself. Working in miracle labs, he was a gopher, fetching coffee and sandwiches for the scientists in their bright white lab coats. Everyone was so pleasant, so marvelously cheerful. He whistled on his way to work every morning. As time passed, though, he became aware of undercurrents. Dr. Octo hated Dr. Sept, and they both vied for the attention of receptionist Y, who was worth vying for, he admitted to himself. But he knew that he, pimple-faced and adolescent gangly, wouldn't have a chance with her. Most of the scientific infighting, though, had to do with who published what, where. Most of them worked hard at publishing and conducted their research with scrupulous but eager abandon. It was easy for someone like himself to pick up extra cash acting as a guinea pig. It paid well, and his mother's birthday was coming up. Sept was working on a military project, augmented strength, while Octo was working on a similar project, increased speed. Tuesdays and Thursdays, he sat in Sept's lab squeezing grip meters, while on Mondays and Wednesdays, he used a mouse to click colored shapes on a computer screen. He swore to both of them that no one else was interfering with his physical structure, and they were both horrified but intrigued when their experiments collided, geometrically increasing both strength and speed, as though cross-multiplying. Military types swarmed the labs, smoking jovial cigars, while the scientists ran him through test after test with suppressed jubilation, which faded into pretense as every other test subject underwent both treatments to find themselves no stronger or faster than before. He was their golden boy at first, though, and even Y unbent in his direction, admitting she wouldn't mind a cup of coffee, which led to one thing, then another, then him offering in-home demos of what it was like to bang a genuine superhero. But more test subjects came and went in failed succession. The doctors became less fond of him as the military soured. He lost his job at the laboratory, although no one ever gave him a straight answer as to why, so he became a superhero, which seemed like a viable option at the time. Part 2, the career. He got an agent who he'd seen on early morning TV, representative to a group known as the Weather Team. He took the name Captain Hurricane, super speed and strength qualifying from him for that, he figured. It was never clear how many superheroes Alan Mix had in his stable. Although his variety piece when Captain Hurricane joined him said 7, 2 of those, Eben Lightning and El Invierno, were sometimes there, sometimes not, due to other gigs with the world of superhero wrestling. They offered to cut their fellow heroes in on the deal. Sweet money and not all that hard, Eben Lightning urged 3 of the others, Sunshine Princess, Tsunami, and Captain Hurricane. Sunshine Princess did try it, as he recalled, but did not do well in a match against the Huntress. Women liked Captain Hurricane. What's not to like about strength and charisma? They liked his G. Willikers good looks. He was a little bit in love with Sunshine Princess at one point when he was depressed. But the woman that he would go to his grave loving was another of the Weather Team, Water Lily Elegance, an enormous-haired alien, cerulean-eyed, with pumpkin-colored skin from beyond Beetlejuice. She did not return the affection, though. The mate waiting for her, after she had spent a year in their world, was an enormous purple flower, forever stationary, who floated on a lake of violet emulsion on her home planet. When she returned home to engage in the mating ritual that would lead to her explosion in a rain of seeds, Captain Hurricane spent 3 nights running in a bar with Sunshine Princess. Each night they staggered home to his apartment and made clumsy love in his unwashed bed. On the 3rd morning, he woke up to find her making eggs and coffee in the tiny kitchen. He drank the coffee in a sullen silence that ate away like acid at her happiness, making it more and more brittle as she moved around, cleaning the small space, wiping at the counters with a lemon-colored sponge. "Sit down, for the love of God," he finally snarled, and she sat, pouring herself coffee and sweetening it with lavish spoonfuls. "Is everything okay, baby doll?" she cooed. And he could tell she was latching on, sinking in the hooks that would drag him into married life and an eternity of yellow sponges. "I'm not your baby doll," he told her startled face. "Not your gumdrop, not your honey bunch, not anything. You were convenient. That's all, Eleanor." She went white as she stood, swaying, and then stiffened herself and marched out to collect her things. She wrapped the yellow cape around herself, sodden still from the previous night's rain, clinging in damp folds to her skin. He caught a glimpse of her eyes, which were enormous and bruised dark. That night he patrolled Central Park and beat 3 muggers so savagely that they could not walk. Part 3, the announcement. 3 months later, when she came to see him about the pregnancy, he'd already felt it in his heart. He pushed money in her hand and then pushed her away, physically, a hard shove that sent her sprawling. He turned his back and walked away. He'd gotten a photogram that morning from Water Lily Elegance. She stood by the shore of the violet lake, one slender hand cupped around her swelling body, ripe with the offspring that would kill her. He wondered what it would look like, with the seeds explode outward, scattering her flesh, leaving scraps of squash color to dry and brittle on the ground. He asked around, asked Silver Spring, the other alien on the Weather Team, But Spring ignored him in a way that screamed impoliteness. Realizing he was violating some taboo, he dropped the subject with reluctant haste. Part 4, The Arrival. He met his daughter first when she was 4. Hair like cotton candy floss, colored with pale light. She had inherited powers from both of them, although he could sense she would never be as strong, as fast as him. From her mother, she had gotten the trick of fostering light beneath her skin, letting it go in pulsations of brightness. He called her his firefly. He took her every Saturday to the zoo, to the harbor, to the botanical gardens, to the sculpture gardens, to the playground, to the grocery store, to the laundromat. They had a year of such meetings before she vanished. Someone took her out the window, the 13th story window that she looked out of each night, her small, luminous moon face pressed up against the clear surface. They melted through the glass as though it was water and abducted her in silence. He nearly died when the police showed him the film, which they said was being sold in underground circles. Although she wore a mask, he recognized the flashes of light that trembled on her naked skin. The men that with her wore masks too. They said it was a snuff film and would not show him more than the moment he needed to identify her. The corpse was never found. He never found the men either, though he has spent a decade looking. Princess Sunshine committed suicide, and most of the weather team was gone. He had to leave it after 3 years and the 4th scandal of a criminal killed in the course of apprehension. In another decade, one of Water Lily Elegance's children might come back to this planet, perhaps join a new superhero group. He knew that 22 had survived her death. Their names blended together for him: Casual Horizon, Immaculate Bliss, Serenity of Spite. Sometimes he wrote to her mate and received in return graceful thoughtgrams, blended nuances of mental energy and sensation that conveyed regret and well wishes, and never mentioned her. And now, the loop complete for another hour, he steps forward again into the darkness. The mask he wears is a duplicate of one from the film. He has no wish to explore why he chose it. But every night it's the same. His mask looming down over the fallen form of the mugger, the purse snatcher, the rapist, the suspected harasser, the suspicious stranger out late at night. As he kicks and slaps at them, superhuman strength making bruises bloom like light flashes on their skin. Tonight, jewels of light will glitter on their unturned blank face, and he will feel the blood hot within himself, boiling hot and mammal, unlike the rain's cool and vegetative touch. All right. I'll stick a content trigger warning on that because I realize it's actually a pretty graphic story, and I hope it was worth it. I like that story. I think there's some nice language in it. I think there's some nice parallels. You may catch references to various superheroes. I've always enjoyed embedding that. Alrighty, now I've got to fumble around for the stop recording button, but I will do another of these next time, the next time I read fiction. If you enjoyed it, please like, please subscribe, please comment, please spread the word, and let me know if you would like something else. If you've got a favorite story and we're always thinking, boy, I really wanted to hear Kat read this or that or the other thing, let me know. I don't mind doing that. Preferably not a novella, something short. Like, this is my favorite Flash, Cat Rambo. I'd be like, yes. Not so much, this is my favorite novel, because that's not going to happen. But, all right, take care, and I hope you enjoyed this.